It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Tom Feasby, Dean of the University of Calgary's Faculty of Medicine. As Chancellor Dinning has said, Dr. Feasby has demonstrated remarkable leadership throughout his career in his own research and in his skill as a collaborator and a facilitator. Dr. Feasby first served at the University of Calgary as head of the Department of Clinical Neurosciences, since building it into the leading department in Canada. As Dean, Dr. Feasby has proven himself the consummate team player, and his extensive experience, wisdom, good humor, and his own record of research excellence have helped shape a renowned faculty that is one of the most innovative medical schools in Canada and beyond. Dr. Feasby's term as Dean ends at the end of June this year, and as this is his last convocation, I'd like to thank, on behalf of the entire University of Calgary community and the wider community, I'd like to thank him for all of his contributions. He's been a tremendous colleague and a tremendous leader, and we're absolutely delighted to have Dr. Feasby here to give the convocation address. Welcome.
University of Calgary graduates, families, friends, and colleagues. This is a wonderful day to celebrate the culmination of your years of hard work. This is a day to cherish and a day to remember. It's a special day for me as well, my last convocation as Dean. I spent some time considering what I would say to you today from this pulpit on high. Many thousands of convocation speeches have been given in the past. What can be said now that is fresh, relevant, and inspiring? In preparing, I read several of the convocation speeches given by Sir William Osler, Canada's most revered physician and the father of modern medicine. For each lecture, he concentrated on a particular theme. The title of his address at the University of Pennsylvania on May the 1st, 1889, was Equanimitas. He focused on the value of equanimity, the property of balance, imperturbability, the necessity to keep on an even keel. No doubt this is a quality that would serve us all well, as Osler said, as we sail the uncharted sea. Another address was called The Master Word. He spent 2/3 of his talk building up to the revelation that the master word was a 4-letter word, work. Hard work, he said, was the foundation for success. I believe this to be true. For my theme today, I have chosen the topic memory. I thought back to my own convocation at the University of Manitoba 43 years ago. The speaker that day was Carlton Williams, the president of the University of Western Ontario. The strange thing is that I can remember only one thing he said. He told us that this is the first day of the rest of your life. This quote is well known now, but it was fresh to me at the time. My Google search tells me that it originated in the 1960s and was part of what was known as street wisdom. But why do I remember only that brief statement? Perhaps 1% of his speech. I believe it was because he struck a resonant chord with me and I think my fellow graduates. It was perhaps natural that we thought of graduation as the end, in some odd sort of way, and not the beginning. His memorable statement stuck in our minds and made us think. Memory is a remarkable thing. It is fundamental to who we are as individuals, and without it, there can be no learning. Clearly, all of you have very good memories, or you wouldn't be here today. In fact, memory of some sort is inherent in almost all living creatures. Perhaps the most basic biologic studies of memory were done on the simplest of living things, fruit flies. Conditioning experiments in flies with various mutations showed that genes control many aspects of memory. Those of you with photographic memories can thank your parents for this, and of course for much more. Memories are encoded by structural changes in our brains, new and strengthened connections between some of the 100 billion neurons at the synaptic level. And our capacity to store memory is quite remarkable. My 93-year-old mother has vivid recollections from her childhood. And consider the remarkable recall of the concert pianist, playing Beethoven's symphonies entirely from memory. We are continuing to learn more about memory, and current research includes the development of drugs to enhance memory or to even erase painful memories. Think of the societal issues that will raise. Nowadays, most of us think of memory in computer terms. How many gigabytes of memory does your computer have? We know that computer memory is getting cheaper and smaller. I have a USB chip in my pocket that is the size of my thumbnail, has 8 gigs of memory, and costs only $10. And that memory chip has high fidelity recall. Everything I've stored on it, including this speech, will be reproduced faithfully again and again. How does that compare to the memory we carry in our brains? Despite the remarkable quality of our brains, we all know that our memories are not like those on a memory stick. They are selective and fallible. For example, how many of you can remember exactly what you did a year ago today? Or a month ago? Or even a week ago? Most of that memory is just gone. In fact, it's sad to think that the memory of most days of our lives is gone forever. On the other hand, all of us carry memories that are both vivid and indelible. Yesterday was the 68th anniversary of D-Day, the Allied invasion of Europe that signaled the end of the Second World War. It's an important day, remembered well by my parents' generation. In my lifetime, other public events stand out, such that I remember much detail, including where I was. One was the assassination of President John Kennedy on November the 22nd, 1963. Everybody of my vintage carries that memory. It was a dramatic event in the Cold War. We all felt a sense of foreboding, thinking that perhaps the Russians were behind it. The current equivalent would be 9/11. Many of you were quite young then, but I'll bet that you remember the details of the events and where you were, and I suspect you remember the sense of unease you felt. But memorable events don't need to involve death and drama. I think we all remember joyful occasions or times of personal challenge or success. Common to all of these moments is that they are special and often tinged by emotion. When these moments are committed to memory, they are bold-faced and in italics. Emotional memories are processed in part through a small nucleus in the brain called the amygdala, where they are tagged for rapid recall. I remember some years ago attending a scientific meeting in New York and presenting a controversial paper that challenged conventional wisdom. The moment I finished, the aisles were full of people at the microphones waiting to take shots at me. I was on the hot seat, and it was an exciting experience. The occasion was all the more poignant for me, as my 15-year-old son was in the audience. When I heard him tell this story recently of our trip to New York, I realized that the experience must have had an emotional effect on him as well, as we both remembered it clearly and fondly. And by the way, my controversial thesis proved to be correct in the end. So where am I going with all of this? What relevance is there for you with your promising futures ahead? William Osler gave us 2 great guidelines for success in life. Work hard, and you will make a contribution, and you will achieve satisfaction. And keep your poise through good times and bad. Don't get too high in success or too low in failure. Keep your equanimity. I think that this provides a great foundation for life, but is it enough? Will you remember most of those days of hard work and equanimity? I challenge you to go beyond this solid basis and seek out the experiences of which memories are made. Look for areas that interest you, where you can make a difference in your work, in your community, and in your family. Make that extra effort. Stimulate your amygdala. Take some risks. The memories from failure may be as important as those from success. Don't be afraid to challenge popular wisdom. Take your child to New York. You will not regret it. The memories you build by these endeavors will stay with you always. They are the icing on the cake. I wish you all the best in the rest of your lives. May they be truly memorable.